that an island must have sunk at that spot. Scientists working for Lamont Geological Observatory in the USA have made an important discovery on the basis of foraminifera, tiny sea animals, that a sudden warming of surface ocean waters took place in the Atlantic 10,000 years ago.
Yet another corroboration of Plato's chronology for Atlantis. Now, let's go back to the matrix of mythology and Egerton Sykes.
Now, one of the other sources which I have been found extremely useful is that of the Irish. There were three races who were mainly concerned with Ireland in its early stages: the Tuatha De Danann, the Firbolgs, who probably came from the Volga River, and the Fomors or Pomorza, who came from the Baltic and Scandinavia. The Tuatha were the ones who provided most of the folklore which has come down to us through the hands of translators and poets. And one of the stories which has been most helpful to me has been the story of the four cities. And here, if I may quote, "There are four cities that no mortal eye has seen, but the soul knows. These are Gorias, that is in the east, and Phineas, that is in the south, and Murias, that is in the west, and Phalias is in the north. And the symbol of Phalias is the stone of death, which is crowned with pale fire. And the symbol of Gorias is the dividing sword, and the symbol of Phineas is a spear. And the symbol of Murias is a hollow that is filled with water and fading light." Well, this information has been again available for centuries. But it suddenly occurred to me 3 or 4 years ago that in these four names I probably had the names of 4 of the outlying cities of the old Atlantean civilization, memories of which had come down to the Irish through the Tuatha, who, to my mind, had probably been either temple soldiers or temple guardians at the time. So, after a lot of research work, we came to the conclusion that Murias was the equivalent of Bimini and was centered round there, that Phalias was in the Azores, or off the 2 eastern Azores islands, that Gorias was what we now know as Madeira, and Phineas what we now know as Tenerife in the Canary Islands. And it must not be forgotten, they were all islands. None of these cities were on mainland at all. Every one of us on an island. And we have so many records of their being visited by strange travelers, such as Bran O'Connor and Mael June, such as Loki the Norwegian, such as the Turin brothers, that we are obliged to assume that there were strange things of this nature. Strange things in that they were unknown to the people who arrived there, not that they were that mysterious, which give us a clue which takes us back to the past. Now, the interesting thing is this. We have one artifact from Atlantis, my mind, which is at the present moment in London and is visible. This is the symbol of Phalias, the stone of death crowned with pale fire. This was originally, to my mind, a radioactive stone which was kept as a sacred object, much as is the sacred stone of Mecca. Gradually, over the years, the radioactivity wore off, and instead of becoming a sacred object of worship, it became used as a throne. It was brought from the Azores, where it was, to Ireland in the time of the Tuatha, probably by the Turin brothers. It became the throne of power on which the Irish kings were crowned. Later it was captured and taken to Scotland, where it became the throne of St. Columba. Later again it became the stone of Scone, on which the Scottish kings were crowned. And finally it was captured by the English in battle, taken to Westminster Abbey, installed on the throne of England, and on it every English sovereign for the last 400 years has been crowned king or queen. Obviously, from this means that the radioactivity is no longer dangerous. But apparently, in the Irish times, it was said to be extremely dangerous and to cause cries of terror on the part of people who were forcibly seated on it. The spear and the lance, sword, these are all right. They came from various metal foundries on the islands off the African coast. They are important, but not vital. What is really important is the symbol of Mirias, which was the hollow that was filled with water and fading light. Well, the earliest explorers of America, such as Ponce de Leon, came over and landed at Miami, which they thought was Bimini, on the grounds that there was the fountain of eternal youth, which had been the secret, one presumes, of the temple of Mirias. Well, Ponce de Leon was mistaken. The fountain of eternal youth, wherever it was, has now vanished. But nevertheless, the tradition that on the other side of the Atlantic lay a means of healing and of restoring one's youth persisted throughout the whole of history, from the times of the Vikings, the earliest Vikings, the Aesir and the Vanir, right up to the time when the Europeans discovered America. To my mind, this succession of clues, which I'm still working on, provides me with one of the steps between the existence of Atlantis and our present day culture. And